Welcome to Grandpa's Gentle Sleep Stories. If tonight your mind feels a little too busy, a little too awake, you're in the right place. You don't need to quiet your thoughts. You don't need to sort them out. These stories are here to sit beside you while your thinking slowly runs out of steam. So get comfortable. There's nothing to figure out as the story begins. The room is quiet, the kind of quiet that feels steady and patient. The air is still. The lights are low, or perhaps already turned off. The day has ended in every visible way. But inside your mind, something is still moving. Your body may be tired. Your shoulders may already be resting into the mattress. Your eyes may have closed more than once. Yet the mind continues its quiet activity, like a room where someone forgot to switch off a lamp. Thoughts arrive quickly, not always important, not always emotional, just constant. A small moment from earlier in the day drifts back into focus. A sentence you spoke, a sentence you almost spoke, a decision that could have gone slightly differently. Then something else replaces it. There is no single topic, no single concern. Just motion. Racing thoughts rarely feel dramatic. They feel repetitive, like a wheel that keeps turning even after. The road has disappeared. You may notice how one idea blends into another. A memory becomes a question becomes a scenario becomes a revision of something that already happened, and all of it feels slightly unfinished. But tonight, nothing needs to be finished. Nothing needs to be perfected before sleep arrives. The day is already over. The conversations have already ended. The outcomes have already settled into place. Your body understands this. Feel the weight beneath you. The mattress holds you evenly. It does not ask for explanation. The pillow supports your head without reviewing your choices. The blanket rests gently across your chest, rising and falling with each breath. Your body is not racing. Only the mind is. Sometimes the mind keeps moving because it believes it must stay alert. It believes that by reviewing, replaying, or rehearsing, it is protecting you. But there is nothing chasing you right now. No one is waiting for an immediate response. No decision must be made before morning. Notice your breathing for a moment, not to control it, not to slow it. Just to notice it. It arrives. It leaves. It returns again. There is a rhythm here that does not rush. Your breath does not leap forward to the next breath. It does not replay the last one. It simply comes when it comes. Between each inhale and exhale, there is a small pause, almost invisible. That pause does not panic. It does not fill itself with thought. It simply exists. If a thought appears now, let it appear. You do not need to block it. You do not need to follow it either. Imagine your thoughts as distant cars passing along a highway at night. You can hear them faintly, but you are not standing on the road. You are inside, safe and still. Each car passes. Another follows. None of them stop in your room. Racing thoughts feel powerful when you chase them. But when you stop chasing, they become something softer. Let one thought move through completely without interrupting it. Do not analyze it. Do not argue with it. Just allow it to finish its own sentence. Notice how it fades on its own. Another may follow. That is fine. It too will fade. The mind sometimes behaves like a child who has stayed awake too long. It becomes louder, not because it is energized, but because it is tired. And tired minds do not need discipline. They need gentleness. You are not failing at sleep. You are not doing something wrong. You are simply noticing that. Your mind has momentum. Momentum does not stop instantly. It slows gradually. Picture a ceiling fan spinning after being switched off. It does not freeze in place. It continues for a while, each turn slightly slower than the last. Your thoughts are like that. They are not powered by urgency anymore. They are powered by leftover motion, and leftover motion fades. Your breathing continues quietly. Inhale. Exhale. The room remains unchanged. Nothing new enters. Nothing demands your attention. Thoughts may still come quickly for a moment. Let them. They do not need to be organized. They do not need to be corrected. You are allowed to lie here without solving anything. You are allowed to let the day remain imperfect. You are allowed to rest even if your mind has not yet fully agreed. Another breath arrives. Notice the gentle rise in your chest. Notice the slow fall. There is steadiness here. The mind is still moving, but perhaps not quite as sharply as before. Perhaps each thought is slightly less urgent, slightly less convincing. When you stop fighting racing thoughts, they lose the resistance that keeps them sharp. They soften. Let your shoulders sink a little deeper, not dramatically. Just enough to signal that the body is safe. The night outside this room has already slowed. Streetlights glow without hurry. Windows darken one by one. Somewhere, someone else is also lying awake, listening to their own thoughts drift by. You are not alone in this experience, and nothing about it means something is wrong. Racing thoughts are simply energy unwinding, energy that will slow, energy that will tire. You do not need to force quiet. You only need to stay still while the mind finishes its last few turns, like that ceiling fan. Like a wheel, gradually losing speed. You may notice now that the thoughts are still there, but they are not quite as loud as when this chapter began. They are moving, but perhaps they are no longer running. And as you continue lying here, breathing steadily, letting thoughts pass without chasing them, something subtle begins to change. The motion remains, but the urgency begins to thin. And as that thinning continues gently, you may start to notice that racing does not last forever. It simply needs space to slow. And as the speed softens just a little more, you may begin to notice the quiet room around you in a way you hadn't before. The speed has softened, even if only slightly. Your thoughts are still present, but they no longer feel quite as sharp as they did before. They move, but they do not rush quite as urgently. Something inside has loosened, and now, without forcing anything, your attention begins to widen. Instead of looking only inward, you begin to notice the room. The air feels cool against your skin. The darkness is not heavy. It is gentle. If there is a lamp still on somewhere, its light glows steadily without flicker. If the room is fully dark, you can sense the outline of space around you, the ceiling above, the quiet walls, the window nearby. The world outside, that window has already slowed. Streetlights shine without movement. Houses rest in shadow. Cars, if they pass at all, pass quietly and disappear. There is no hurry out there. Nothing is racing across the sky. Nothing is demanding attention. The outside world has settled into its nighttime rhythm, and you are part of that same rhythm. Your breathing continues steadily. Inhale. Exhale. The room does not react to your thoughts. It does not respond to your memories. It simply remains as it is, calm, steady, unchanged. If there is a window nearby, imagine it. Now, Perhaps the curtains are drawn. Perhaps there is a faint glow from the street filtering through. Perhaps the glass reflects the dim outline of the room. That window separates the movement of the day from the stillness of the night, and the night has already. One dot, you are no longer in motion. You are lying still. Your body is aligned with the quiet. Outside dot, the mind is simply catching up dot. Notice how the shadows in the room do not shift quickly. They remain where they are. The corners of the ceiling stay dark. The furniture holds its place. Nothing reorganizes itself the way your thoughts. Sometimes do dot, the room does not replay anything dot. It does not anticipate. Tomorrow dot simply exists. Your breathing slows slightly. Not because you are trying to slow it, but because the atmosphere around you encourages it. There is something about darkness that removes. Urgency dot, there is something about stillness that makes movement feel unnecessary. Dot, your thoughts may still drift through, but now they pass through a wider space dot. Earlier they felt crowded dot. Now there is more room between them. Imagine sitting quietly beside a window late at night. The lamp behind you is on, casting a warm circle of light. Outside, everything is dark and still. You are not doing anything. You are not planning. You are simply watching. That same feeling can exist here, even with your eyes closed. You are watching. Your thoughts, instead of standing inside them. A thought appears. You see it. It moves on dot. Another follows dot. It too passes dot. The room remains unchanged. That the night remains patient. That your body grows slightly heavier against the mattress. Your shoulders sink a little deeper. Your neck feels fully supported. Dot. The outside world does not require your attention. If something needs to happen tomorrow, it will happen tomorrow. Tonight. There is nothing to monitor, nothing to track, nothing to manage. Your breath continues its slow pattern dot. Inhale dot. Exhale dot. Between each breath, there is space. That space feels wider now. The window, whether you can see it or not, represents that space. A boundary between motion and rest. Between the day's activity and the night's pause. You have crossed that boundary. Even if your mind is still finishing a few final turns dot. Notice the temperature of the air dot. Notice the gentle weight of the blanket dot. Notice how your hands rest without gripping anything. These small details do not require thought. They require only awareness dot. And awareness does not need to rush. A faint sound may exist somewhere. A distant hum, a subtle shift of air, but even those sounds are slow. They do not interrupt. They blend into the stillness dot. Your thoughts begin to mirror that pace, not because you command them to, but because the environment offers no reason to move quickly dot. There is no conversation happening here dot. No lights switching on and off dot. No footsteps pacing across the room. Everything around you reflects rest dot. And gradually your inner rhythm aligns with it. A thought drifts by, softer than before dot. No longer demands analysis dot. It no longer feels urgent dot. It simply appears and dissolves like the faint reflection of light on glass dot. Your breathing deepens slightly. The exhale lingers a little longer. The pause afterward feels steady and comfortable. You are not trying to quiet your mind. You are simply noticing the quiet that already exists. Outside the window, night continues without your involvement. Stars, if visible, remain fixed in place dot. Clouds, if present, move slowly across the sky. The world is not rushing dot, and neither are you. Your body is already in harmony with the hour. Your thoughts are slowly learning that they do not need to outrun the dark. They can slow, they can stretch, they can soften. You may begin to feel that. The room is holding you gently. Not physically in a dramatic way, just quietly, steadily, without expectation. There is comfort in that. Comfort in knowing that nothing is required of you right. Now, another breath arrives. Inhale, exhale. The rhythm feels natural and unforced. Space between thoughts widens slightly more. You do not measure it. You simply experience it. And as your attention remains softly aware of the stillness. Around you, the steady room. The quiet window. The unhurried night. The momentum that once felt fast begins to feel like a slow current instead. Not gone. Just calmer. And as that calm continues settling, as the outside world remains steady and unchanging, you may begin to notice how even your thoughts start to resemble the night itself, quieter, wider, and less determined to move. And as your thoughts begin matching the quiet rhythm of the night, you may start to notice the gentle repetition of your own breath guiding them even further. The night has settled around you. The room feels steady. The outside world has already slowed. Your thoughts are still present, but they no longer rush the way they did earlier. They move more like distant echoes now. And beneath everything, there is your breathing. It has been there the entire time. Quiet, consistent, unconcerned. With the pace of your thoughts, you do not need to change it. You only need to notice it. The inhale arrives without asking permission. The exhale follows without instruction. The rhythm continues whether you pay attention to it or not. And yet, when you do pay attention, something shifts. Inhale, exhale. There is a softness in repetition. Something calming about a pattern that does not hurry. Your breath does not leap forward to the next moment. It does not replay the last one. It simply moves in and out over and over again. Earlier, your thoughts felt like overlapping conversations. Now they feel farther apart. Breathing creates space between them, not by pushing them away, but by giving your awareness something steady to rest on. Inhale. You feel the slight rise in your chest. The gentle expansion beneath the blanket. Exhale. You feel the slow release. The subtle settling. There is no urgency here, nothing dramatic. Just a cycle repeating itself quietly in the dark. Thoughts may still appear. A fragment of memory. A small, unfinished idea. But when they arrive, they pass through the rhythm of your breathing. They no longer interrupt it. They float within it. The inhale does not compete with your thoughts. The exhale does not argue with them. The breath simply continues. Notice how each inhale is slightly different from the last. Not in a noticeable way, just in a subtle, natural variation. The body adjusts automatically. You are not responsible for keeping it steady. Your body already knows how to breathe. That realization alone can feel relieving. There is something comforting about repetition that requires no effort from you. The mind may still be finishing a few quiet loops, but the breath does not participate in those loops. It moves forward. Inhale. Exhale. Between each breath, there is a pause. That pause is small, but it exists. And inside that pause, there is no thinking, only stillness. You do not need to stretch the pause. You do not need to count it. Just notice that it is there. The inhale begins again. The cycle continues. Repetition is often misunderstood as boring. But in moments like this, repetition becomes grounding. Each breath reminds you that the present moment is enough, that nothing needs to be added. Your shoulders sink slightly deeper in the mattress. Your hands remain still. Your jaw loosens. Breathing continues. Inhale. Exhale. The sound of it may be faint or nearly silent, but you can sense its presence. A thought drifts through, softer now. It does not feel sharp. It feels almost transparent. It moves across your awareness and dissolves into the next. Breath. Inhale. Exhale. The rhythm remains unchanged. There is comfort in knowing that this pattern has been repeating your entire life. Long before this moment, long before tonight's thoughts, breathing has always continued, even while you were busy, even while you were distracted, even while you were unaware. And now, in the quiet of this room, you are simply noticing it. Notice how the exhale feels, slightly longer than the inhale. Not forced. Just natural. The body releases more slowly than it gathers. There is wisdom in that. Release takes time. Letting go takes time, but it happens. Your thoughts are beginning to follow that same rhythm. They arrive, they leave. They do not linger as long as they did before. Inhale. Exhale. The pause between breaths feels a little wider now. In that pause, there is no rush. No memory replaying. No future rehearsing. Just space. The breath begins again. Repetition builds calm, not because it demands attention, but because it invites steadiness. Each inhale reminds you that you are here. Each exhale reminds you that nothing needs to be held tightly. The mind, once racing, now moves more like a slow current. Still present, but guided by something steadier. Your breathing does not ask your thoughts to stop. Simply continues until the thoughts lose interest in racing. Inhale. Exhale. The rhythm is smooth. The room remains quiet. The window remains dark. The outside world does not change, and neither does this gentle cycle within you. You may begin to feel that your thoughts are no longer at the front of your awareness. They are somewhere behind the rhythm now. Less central. Asterisk. Less convincing. Each breath carries a small wave of calm through your body. Not dramatic. Just subtle. A soft ripple. Inhale. Exhale. Another pause. Your body feels heavier. Not weighed down. Just grounded. Secure. Supported. The repetition continues. There is nothing to achieve here. Nothing to complete. Only this steady movement in and out. The breath does not try to be interesting. It does not try to entertain. It simply repeats. And repetition, when gentle, becomes soothing. As you remain here quietly, aware of the inhale and the exhale. You may notice something small but important. The spaces between thoughts are longer. Now, not empty. Asterisk, just wider. The breath continues without interruption. And as that steady rhythm carries on, as your awareness rests inside the gentle repetition, you may begin to sense that the thoughts themselves are starting to move in a slower, more distant way, almost like cars fading down a quiet street at night. And as that rhythm continues guiding you gently inward, the thoughts that once felt crowded begin to thin into softer shapes, drifting through a wider space. Your breathing continues its gentle rhythm. Inhale. Exhale. That pattern feels steady now, almost background. Thoughts still appear, but they no longer rush past in crowded waves. They arrive one at a time, softer than before. And as they move through you, imagine something simple. A street at night, Earlier in the evening, that street may have been busy. Cars moving in both directions, headlights crossing, engines humming, movement constant and layered dot. But now it is late. The traffic is thin. Only an occasional car passes. Your thoughts are like that street. Earlier tonight, they moved quickly, overlapping, competing, one replacing another before the first had fully settled. Now, the traffic is lighter. A single thought appears, like a car turning onto the road. You see its headlights briefly. You notice its shape. And then it continues forward. You do not step into the street. You do not wave it down. You remain where you are, resting safely at a distance. Another breath arrives. Inhale. Exhale. The street grows. Quieter. Another thought passes. Perhaps it is something small. A faint memory. A loose idea. It moves through your awareness, like a car gliding beneath a streetlight. For a moment, it is illuminated. Then it moves into shadow and disappears. You do not follow it. You remain still. The street does not need supervision. It empties on its own. Notice how each passing car becomes less frequent. The gaps between them widen. The silence between headlights stretches longer. Your thoughts follow the same pattern. They appear. They fade. They leave space behind them. The space begins to feel more noticeable than the movement. Your breathing remains steady. Beneath everything. Inhale. Exhale. The rhythm does not hurry. The street grows. Quieter still. You may imagine yourself sitting near a window, overlooking that street, not involved in it, not crossing it, just observing it from above. There is no responsibility here. No need to direct traffic. No need to signal when to stop or go. The cars move at their own pace. Your thoughts move at their own pace. Earlier, the street felt crowded. Now it feels open. Another faint thought turns the corner. Its presence is softer than the last. It moves forward and disappears. The silence afterward feels wider. More stable. The mind begins to understand that it does not need to keep the road busy. There is no requirement for constant motion. Night invites slowing. Street lights glow steadily without flicker. The pavement reflects a faint shine. Everything feels still except for the occasional movement that quietly passes through. Your breathing deepens. Slightly. Inhale. Exhale. The exhale lingers longer now. The pause after it feels calm. Another thought appears. You notice it. It travels through. Fades. You remain where you are. Safe. Unmoved. There is comfort in watching something slow without trying to control it. The street empties naturally. No car needs to be forced away. No noise needs to be silenced. When there is no rush hour, traffic fades on its own. Your thoughts are not enemies. They are simply motion, and motion slows when it is no longer chased. Another breath. Inhale. Exhale. The silence between passing cars stretches even longer. Now there may be moments when the street is completely empty. No headlights. No engine sounds. Just stillness. Those moments may last only a second or two at first. But they exist. And inside them, there is peace. You do not need to extend them. You do not need to hold them in place. They come naturally. They return naturally. Another faint thought drifts by. It feels more distant than before, almost like a car several blocks away. You hear it faintly. Then it disappears entirely. The street is nearly empty now. Your body feels heavier against the mattress. Your shoulders rest without effort. Your hands remain still. The outside world continues its quiet rhythm. Nothing urgent approaches. Nothing demands attention. Inhale. Exhale. The repetition of breath blends into the stillness of the street. Even if a thought appears now, it does not disturb the calm. It simply passes through. And as the traffic continues thinning, as the headlights grow fewer and farther apart, you may begin to notice that the quiet is no longer something you are waiting for. That is something already here. The street has emptied. The road stretches open and silent. Your thoughts, once crowded, now move like distant echoes. They no longer fill the space. They travel quietly and fade. And as that emptiness settles gently around you, as the road remains open and still, you may begin to sense that nothing needs deciding tonight, nothing waiting at the end of the street for you to resolve before resting. And as the street grows fully quiet, the need to decide or finish anything begins to loosen its hold entirely. The street is quiet now. Headlights no longer pass beneath the window of your awareness. The road stretches open and still. Thoughts may still appear from time to time, but they no longer crowd the space. And yet, sometimes even in that quiet, there remains something subtle, a small pressure, the sense that something should be decided before you rest, a conversation to clarify, a plan to refine, a choice to confirm, a detail to settle. It does not shout. It simply lingers. You may notice it now, the faint urge to reach toward a conclusion, as if sleep requires everything to be neatly arranged before it can arrive. But tonight, nothing needs to be arranged. Nothing needs to be finalized. Morning does not demand a completed list. The world does not require a polished answer before it allows you to rest. Inhale. Exhale. Your breathing remains steady, and even notice how your body is already free from decision. Your shoulders are not choosing anything. Your hands are not preparing responses. Your legs are not evaluating options. Your body understands rest without requiring certainty. The mind, however, is accustomed to solving. Throughout the day, it has been choosing constantly. Large decisions, small decisions, words to speak, messages to send, reactions to manage. Decision-making becomes a rhythm. And when night arrives, that rhythm sometimes continues out of habit, but habits do not have to continue. A thought may appear now, something unfinished. It may carry the faint suggestion that you should resolve it before sleep. You can notice that suggestion without obeying it. Let the thought remain incomplete. Let it hover without resolution. There is no danger in unfinished edges. Inhale. Exhale. The exhale stretches slightly longer than before. You do not need to decide whether something was said perfectly. You do not need to determine how tomorrow will unfold. You do not need to fix the past in order to rest in the present. Sleep does not require conclusions. It requires release. Notice how different those two things feel. A conclusion feels tight, structured. Final. Release feels open, spacious, gentle. You are choosing release, not by force, but by simply not reaching for closure. Another faint thought appears, perhaps a reminder of something to do tomorrow. It carries the light weight of responsibility. You can let it remain unorganized. Tomorrow will find it again. The mind does not need to hold it overnight. Your breathing continues. Inhale. Exhale. The rhythm remains smooth. You may begin to sense a shift, the quiet relief of not having to solve anything in the dark. The relief of letting tomorrow handle. Tomorrow. The night is not a courtroom. It is not a planning session. It is not a rehearsal stage. It is a pause. Pause does not require completion. A pause does not demand answers. It simply exists between moments of action. Another thought may try to gather your attention. It may whisper that something important could be forgotten if you do not decide now. But notice how your body remains calm. Notice how your breath does not accelerate. The body does not urgency. The urgency is only habit. Habits soften when they are not reinforced. Inhale. Exhale. Between each breath. There is space. In that space. There is no choosing. No evaluating. No comparing. Just quiet. You may begin to feel lighter, not because every question has been answered, but because you have allowed questions to rest. The street outside your inner window remains empty. No cars waiting for direction. No traffic needing control. The same is true within you. There is nothing lined up demanding a verdict. Another breath arrives. Inhale. Exhale. Your body sinks slightly deeper into the mattress. Your jaw loosens further. Your eyelids feel heavier. The pressure to decide thins. It becomes smaller, less convincing. You realize that nothing terrible happens. When a decision waits, the world does not collapse because you postponed clarity. The night continues. Breathing continues. Rest becomes possible. A final faint thought may arise. Something you once believed had to be resolved before you could relax. You look at it gently. You let it sit where it is. You do not shape it. You do not correct it. You let it remain unfinished. And in doing so, you create space. Space that did not exist when everything demanded completion. Inhale. Exhale. The exhale lingers softly. The pause after it feels comfortable. You are no longer trying to conclude the day. You are allowing it to end without summary. The quiet grows steadier. Your thoughts, once eager for answers, now move with less intention. They feel lighter, less structured. And as that lightness settles deeper, as the need to decide fades into something almost distant, you may begin to notice that thoughts themselves are starting to loosen their grip, no longer seeking resolution, but simply drifting through without asking you to follow them at all. And as the urge to decide dissolves completely, thoughts begin to feel less solid, less defined, and easier to release with each steady breath. The urge to decide has dissolved. The pressure to finish something before sleep no longer lingers the way it once did. Thoughts still exist, but they feel less solid now, softer, less defined, and as they loosen, your awareness begins to return to something steady and physical. The pillow beneath your head. You may not have noticed its weight earlier. It has been there the entire time, quietly supporting you without expectation. Now, as your thoughts thin, you can feel it more clearly. The gentle pressure against the back of your head, the way it holds your neck in place, the way it remains perfectly still. The pillow does not move. It does not question. It does not rush. It simply supports. Notice how your head rests into it. There is no effort required. Gravity does the work. Your body knows how to settle. Inhale. Exhale. The breath moves softly against the weight of the pillow. Your shoulders feel heavier now. Not tense, just relaxed. The muscles no longer hold themselves upright. They surrender to the surface beneath them. The mattress beneath your body spreads your weight evenly. It does not shift unexpectedly. It does not demand adjustment. It remains constant. Your body responds to that constancy. When something beneath you is steady, the mind begins to mirror that steadiness. Earlier, your thoughts moved like traffic. Then they became distant headlights. Now they feel more like faint shadows passing across the ceiling, subtle, barely noticeable. The physical sensations begin to take center stage. The coolness of the air near your face, the warmth beneath the blanket, the slight pressure of fabric against your skin. These sensations are simple. They do not require interpretation. They do not require correction. They simply exist. Inhale, exhale. Your jaw relaxes a little more. The tongue rests gently in your mouth. Your hands lie still, not gripping anything, not preparing for movement. Notice how your body does not rehearse. Tomorrow. It does not replay the day. It simply rests. The pillow continues holding you. There is comfort in being supported without effort. You do not have to maintain your posture. You do not have to hold yourself upright. You are allowed to sink. And as you sink, even slightly, your thoughts grow less structured. They become less like sentences and more like soft impressions. The weight of your head against the pillow grows more noticeable. It feels grounding. Anchoring. The pillow has no expectations. It does not ask you to finish thinking. It does not require you to solve anything. It simply accepts the full weight of you. Notice how your breathing moves through that weight. Inhale. The chest rises gently. Exhale. The body settles a little deeper. Each exhale allows more release. Not dramatic. Just incremental. Your neck feels supported. Your spine feels aligned without effort. Your legs rest without tension. There is something deeply calming about being physically held by something stable. The mattress does not hurry. The pillow does not anticipate. The blanket does not judge. They remain consistent. That consistency teaches the mind that it can remain consistent too. Thoughts still drift by occasionally, but they are faint now, like whispers from another room. You do not need to follow them. Your attention rests with the physical. With the weight. With the support. Inhale. Exhale. The rhythm continues. Your body feels heavier than it did before. Not uncomfortable. Just settled. A sensation of gravity becomes soothing rather than noticeable. You are not floating. You are grounded. And grounding creates safety. When the body feels safe, the mind has less reason to stay alert. Another breath arrives. Inhale. Exhale. The exhale lingers. Your eyelids may feel heavier now. The muscles around your eyes soften. Even if your eyes are closed, you sense the quiet darkness behind them. The pillow continues its steady support. There is nothing unstable here, nothing unpredictable. Everything beneath you remains firm and calm. And because of that, your thoughts no longer feel like something you must manage. They feel distant. Less convincing, less urgent. The body's stillness becomes stronger than the mind's movement. Notice how little you need to do right now. You are not holding anything up. You are not keeping anything balanced. You are simply resting. The pillow bears the weight. The mattress absorbs the pressure. You are free from effort. Inhale. Exhale. Each breath flows smoothly into the next. There is no sharpness in the room. No sudden shifts. Only steady presence. As you remain here, feeling the gentle pressure beneath your head, noticing how your body sinks naturally into support. Something subtle continues to change. The thoughts that once felt active now feel almost optional. They pass through quietly. They do not stay long. The physical Sensations anchor you more deeply. The weight of the pillow, the softness of the mattress, warmth of the blanket. These simple details become more real than any passing idea. And as your awareness settles more fully into the body, into gravity, into support, into stillness, you may begin to notice that the space between thoughts has grown even wider than before, almost as if your mind is discovering how to rest inside the quiet, just as your body has already done. And within that widening quiet, you may start to sense the gentle spaces between thoughts becoming more noticeable than the hunen, thoughts themselves. Your body is fully supported. The pillow holds your head without effort. The mattress absorbs your weight evenly. The blanket rests gently across you. Nothing needs adjusting. And now, something quieter begins to reveal itself. The spaces between thoughts. Earlier, thoughts felt constant, and they became distant. Now they are softer still. They appear, but they do not linger the way they once did. And between each one, there is a pause. You may not have noticed that pause before. It was always there. But it was hidden beneath movement. Now, the movement has slowed enough for the space to become visible. A thought appears. It drifts through gently. It fades. And then there is nothing. Just stillness. Not emptiness. Not silence in a dramatic way. Just a quiet pause. Inhale. Exhale. The breath continues. Steadily beneath everything. The pause between thoughts feels similar to the pause between breaths. Natural. Unfo or ced. Safe. Other faint thought may arrive. It does not rush. It passes. And once again, there is space. The space feels wider than it did a few minutes ago. You are not trying to create it. You are simply noticing it. When thoughts were racing, the space felt crowded. Now it feels open. There is something comforting about open space. It does not demand your attention. It does not require your effort. It simply exists. Your breathing remains steady. Inhale. Exhale. Between those two movements, there is a soft suspension. The body does not panic in that suspension. It trusts that the next breath will come. The mind can learn from that trust. Between one thought and the next, there is no danger. Nothing collapses. Nothing is lost. There is only rest. You may begin to feel that the spaces are becoming longer than the thoughts themselves. A thought flickers. Then fades. The quiet afterward stretches gently. Your awareness rests inside that quiet. You are not reaching forward to the next idea. You are not pulling the previous one back. You are simply resting where nothing is happening. That nothing feels peaceful. Earlier, the mind felt active because it believed activity was necessary. Now it begins to understand that stillness is allowed. Inhale. Exhale. The breath moves like a slow tide. Each exhale releases more tension from your body. Your jaw remains loose. Your shoulders sink deeper. Your hands stay still. Another thought may drift across your awareness. Softer than before, less structured, almost like a shadow passing behind closed eyes. It fades quickly. The space returns. The space feels steady. Almost warm. You do not need to fill it. You do not need to question it. It is enough. The mind, once busy, now feels like a wide sky at night. Occasionally, a cloud may pass through, but most of the sky remains open. You are resting in that openness. Asterisk. Your breathing becomes slower without effort. Inhale. Exhale. The pause afterward feels calm. You may notice that the quiet now feels more noticeable than any individual thought. The quiet has weight, gentle weight. the kind that anchors, rather than presses. Another thought appears faintly. It does not interrupt the calm. It floats through and disappears. The space afterward is smooth. Undisturbed. The body feels heavier now. Comfortably. Heavy. Secure. The mattress supports you without shift. The pillow remains steady. The blanket rises and falls with your breathing. The physical stillness makes the mental stillness easier. Between thoughts. You are no longer waiting for the next one. You are resting. Inhale. Asterisk. Exhale. The repetition of breath blends seamlessly into the repetition of quiet. Nothing demands attention. Nothing insists on analysis. Even if a thought briefly appears, it feels distant. Unimportant. Optional. The spaces are wider now. The gaps are longer. You may begin to feel as though the quiet itself is carrying you, not in a dramatic way, just gently. Like floating in calm water, without effort. The mind no longer tries to fill the silence. It accepts it. You accept it. Another breath arrives. Inhale. Exhale. The exhale lingers. The pause afterward feels deep. Almost soothing. Thoughts may still exist somewhere at the edge of awareness, but they no longer occupy the center. The center is quiet now. And that quiet feels safe. It does not feel empty. That feels full in a different way. Full of stillness, full of rest. Your body sinks slightly deeper. Your breathing grows softer. The night outside remains unchanged. Everything continues its steady rhythm. And as you remain here, resting inside the widening space between thoughts, you may begin to notice that even the awareness of space begins to soften, as if the mind itself is preparing to drift, without needing to observe anything at all. And as the quiet becomes more natural than the movement, you may begin to feel yourself gently drifting without noticing exactly when it begins. The quiet no longer feels unusual. It feels natural. Your body is fully supported. The pillow holds you without effort. The mattress remains steady beneath you. The blanket rises and falls gently with each breath. Nothing needs adjusting. Nothing needs thinking through. The spaces between thoughts have grown wide enough that you are no longer watching for the next one. They come occasionally. They leave gently. But most of what you notice now is stillness. Asterisk. Inhale. Exhale. The breath is soft, and UNFORCED does not demand attention. It simply continues. The mind that once felt busy now feels distant from urgency. Thoughts are no longer sharp or structured. They appear more like faint impressions than complete sentences. You are not following them. You are not pushing them away. You are simply resting beneath. Then. Another breath arrives. Inhale. Exhale. The exhale lingers longer than before. The pause afterward feels deep and comfortable. Your body feels heavier now. Not tense, not weighed down, just settled. Your shoulders sink into the mattress, as if they belong there. Your hands rest without movement. Your legs feel still and quiet. There is nothing left to manage. The night outside continues without interruption. Street lights glow steadily. Distant sounds, if they exist at all, blend into the background. You are part of that steady rhythm. Earlier, you were observing the space between thoughts. Now, even that observation begins to soften. You are no longer measuring the quiet. You are inside it. Thoughts drift through occasionally, but they are lighter than air. They do not stay long enough to form patterns. They appear briefly and dissolve before they can gather momentum. Inhale. Exhale. The breath feels. Slower. The body feels warm. Comfortable. Safe. There is no effort required here. No technique to remember. No step to follow. Just the natural slowing that happens when nothing is being resisted. You may notice that your awareness itself feels softer, less focused, less sharp around the edges. You are not concentrating. You are not evaluating. You are simply here, resting. A faint thought may appear, barely noticeable, and instead of forming into a clear image, it fades halfway through. The mind no longer insists on finishing every sentence. It lets things trail off. Your breathing continues its gentle repetition. Inhale. Exhale. The pause afterward is longer now, not because you are trying to extend it, but because your body is relaxed enough to allow it. The quiet feels complete, not empty. Complete. There is no expectation of what comes next. No anticipation of tomorrow. No revisiting of today. Only this steady, comfortable moment. Your eyelids feel heavier. Even if they are already closed, they feel deeper, as if they are resting more fully than before. The muscles around your eyes soften further. Your jaw loosens slightly more. Another breath arrives. Inhale. Exhale. The breath seems to move through you rather than from you. Effortless. Automatic. Your thoughts now resemble distant ripples in calm water. They appear faintly and disappear without disturbing the surface. The mind is no longer racing. It is no longer searching. It is no longer deciding. It is simply drifting. You do not need to notice when drifting becomes sleep. There is no line to cross. No announcement. The transition is subtle. Like a light dimming, gradually rather than switching off. Inhale. Exhale. The rhythm becomes softer still. The pauses feel deeper. Your body feels almost weightless in its heaviness, fully supported, fully grounded, yet free from tension. There is nothing left to attend to, nothing left to settle. The quiet has taken the place of motion, and you are not observing it anymore. You are inside it. Thoughts now feel like distant echoes that fade before they reach you. Your awareness narrows gently. The room remains steady. The night remains patient. Everything continues without your effort. Another breath arrives. Inhale. Exhale. The exhale stretches and dissolves. And somewhere inside that dissolving, the mind begins to release even the idea of drifting. There is no need to hold on to this moment. No need to remember it. No need to understand it. Just the gentle rhythm of breath. Just the steady support beneath you. Just the quiet that has grown wide and soft and natural. The space between thoughts has become the place where you rest. And as the breath continues quietly, as the body remains still and supported, the mind no longer needs to move at all. It simply begins to drift beyond, noticing, beyond measuring, beyond even the gentle awareness that brought you here.